Alright guys, today we are going to put new carburetor, fuel lines, filters on an srm-230 Echo. Basically I fire this one up, pull the trigger, bogs out, dies. It's a fuel issue. Today's video is brought to you by HiPa. I really like these guys' carburetor kits. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put them in the link below. They sent me this one to do a video as a sponsor for me. They have a website as well. I'll actually put the website in the description below for you as well. These things are really well put together. Give me a second, I'll open up the plastic and then I'll pop the box open and show you what's involved. The part number for this carburetor is RBK70A. Got the carb. And these things are wicked less expensive than if you go to your Echo dealer, and they work very well. Comes with the air filters, comes with the new gaskets, brand new fuel lines with the grommet already, fuel filters, spark plug, a couple of spare primer bulbs. If yours ever goes bad on this, you can replace it. You know, it's everything you need is in this kit. Alright, let's get right to it. First thing we're going to go ahead and do is pull this air filter cover off and pull out the air filter. Air filter is able to be cleaned with a bit of carb cleaner. You spray it down, blow it out with air, but they give us a brand new one, so you know that's gone. This here, there you go. Advertising. You see it? No? See it now? There we go. Alright, and then there's two Phillips head screws that need to come out from this air filter cover right here. They are also flathead screws. You can use a big flathead if you want. Pull it right on out. You got the old gasket. You pull that off. Alright, then we're just going to go ahead and remove the fuel lines. Them out of there. If you got to, just cut them. I'll tell you where they go. Let me get you zoomed in here a little bit so you can see what's going on here. Alright, so now we've got this throttle. So the throttle, we're going to turn it like this. Can you see it? Alright. And then we're going to take a flathead screwdriver and just give this a little bit of a turn counterclockwise so that the cable can slide out. See how it wants to slide out of there? Boom. And then you lift it up and that's how you get that out. Now if you look at the carburetor, the barrel, you see there's a big end that barrel slides into, the cable end slides into, and the other side is thin. So when we put it back on, we want to be able to get into that again as well. Alright, let me get you zoomed down here. Now we're going to take our flathead screwdriver, we're going to stick it underneath the grommet and just pry up right off the gas cap like that. No big deal. Got your old fuel line filter system. You might, I'm telling you, you got to replace these. These get soft and then they suck tight. The insides of them actually come apart and then suck tight, and it'll look fine on the outside. The filter itself will get clogged. There's a little screen inside of it. If you pop this clip off, you can see in there. And it all comes in the kit for super inexpensive, so you just want to go ahead and do that. Now we're going to go ahead and drain all the old gas out and wipe this area down with a rag so you don't get any dirt in there. I'm also going to blow everything out with air to make sure that there's no water, no dirt, no nothing in the gas tank at all. I'll be right back after I'm done. Alright, so now we're going to put the new fuel lines in. First thing we're going to want to do, here let me get you a good view on this, is we're going to want to put a fuel line in. So this one's the vent line. We don't want to worry about that. We're going to put a fuel line on one of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these lines and pull them, you know, see the bottom side, I'm going to pull them out a little bit. That way it's shorter up top and it's longer down bottom. Now I'm going to put the fuel line on that one, or fuel filter on this one. So now the one that's shorter up top is the one with the fuel filter. This way you know which one's which. Let's get it jammed down there all the way down. Nice and tight. Just get it all the way in there. No big deal. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put the filter down into the tank. And all the lines down in the tank. We're going to push the back side of this grommet into the tank like that, and then use a screwdriver and just start working your way around little by little. It's hard to do with the camera right here. Little by little, just gonna push it in until it clicks right on in. There you go. Alright, now we've got a short line and a long line, and a line with a filter on it. This has a lot of line left in it, and the bottom of it, not the filter, the vent, has a lot of line left still, where you can actually pull this up some, because you want it to go right up in here. Alright, and then short line's got the filter on it, long line does not. Alright, let's get this carburetor out. I'll tell you where the lines go. So you've got two different barbed ends. The bigger barbed end is the one that goes to the filter. The littler barbed end is the one that goes to the return line without the filter. Pretty simple. And it's going to be set down like this. So the one closest to the motor is going to be the one that takes the filter, the short line. Before we get into that, let's go ahead. I'm going to clean off my air filter assembly and my air filter cover, get all the dirt out of them. Alright, so air filter cover, choke arm is going to face towards the recoil rope. We're going to take this gasket right here and we're going to put it on the air filter cover. It doesn't matter which way this little hole is, it's just you want this on the air filter cover. This seals between the carburetor and air filter cover so dirt doesn't get through to the engine. Then we're going to put the carburetor on. We're going to have the primer bulb facing towards the recoil rope, like that, and choke arm facing towards the primer bulb on the air filter assembly, like that. Alright, now we're going to put this gasket on. We want the little holes down towards the barbs, like this. The reason you need to have these little holes like that is because that lines up with the vacuum port that runs your fuel pump, and that is also on the intake manifold. It has to line up. Alright, so we're going to go ahead now and put this on the engine, on the intake, and we're going to we're going to tighten the two Phillips head screws. Once we get it all lined up like that, just tighten them up. Get on this thing here. Before you get them tight, double check, make sure that you didn't lose your gasket, make sure that it stayed perfectly in there and on there. Look at both sides, make sure it's not sticking out somewhere it's not supposed to be. You see it's not in there nice. And then you're going to go ahead and just tighten this right on down. You can use flat head or a Phillips head on this. Don't get one super tight before you get the other one in. Just get them both snugged up first and then tighten them. Now, let's see if I can get us a good angle again. We're going to get our little fuel line. The short fuel line is one that goes to, let's see if I can get us a view here. Alright, short fuel line is the one that's going to go to the inner barbed end, closest to the engine, the big one. Before we do that, we want to look in the tank. We want to find our fuel filter, and we want to pull this line out this way until that fuel filter is dead in the middle of the tank. So we're going to pull it until you can find that filter in the middle of the tank. Once you've pulled it up and you've gotten that in the middle of the tank, you're going to cut it to length with some cutting pliers or scissors even. And then you're going to stab it on that nipple. A little bit more off of here. It's going to be about right. And we're just going to stab it onto the big nipple. So one with the fuel filter goes on the big nipple that is closest to the engine. And you get that thing all the way up on there. Nice and tight. If you got to, use a pair of needle nose pliers. Get a grip on it. Get it all the way up on there. And then, look, my vent came out. All this manhandling. Then we're going to do the same with the return line. We're going to measure it to length. Cut it. Get it on there. Now you don't want these to be too long. If they're too long, they can kink. And that's no good. So, if it's too long, cut more out, or you can even just take and shove some right back into the tank if you want. Push it right down into the tank, boom, no problem. We're going to get this vent line back through here. Good. See, still, boom, and we're going to set it right up in here. Alright, now we got to work on the throttle cable, getting it attached. Let's see if I can get a good view on it. Let me pull this right on out of the camera holder. Alright. So we're going to stick the throttle cable. Come on, you're blurry. There we go. Through. All the way in there. So that you can see it. The little what do you call this thing? This part right here, this brass part of the throttle. You see it's got the big end right there. And you can turn it all the way around. You'll see there's a narrow end right there. So what we want to do is get this turned at an angle with the big end up on this side here. See how it's right through, so that when you pull this to throttle it up, see it's going to push that cable. I need both hands. I'm going to have to, hold on, let me set this thing back up. So we're going to just lift this cable up and out of the way, give it full throttle, and then drop the cable right down inside of it, and then we squeeze the trigger and it pulls that barrel right into where it goes, and then you let go of it, boom, full throttle, not so full throttle. So also we want to make sure that this hits this black piece so it throttles all the way up. If it's not opening all the way up, you're not going to get full power. You would just turn this piece counterclockwise to be able to get that. Also, you want to make sure that it's going back far enough. If it's not hitting this idle screw, this is how you adjust your idle, by the way. You would have to go in a little bit, but I've rarely had any problems. I've never had it with HiPa stuff. It's always been right on adjustment. So you're probably going to be good. But it's just something to note. Now we're going to go ahead and put some gas in the tank so that we can prime it up. Put gas in the tank. We're going to prime it and see that it primes properly. Forget where I was at. I had a customer come in. Alright, so we prime it up. We make sure that it's all primed all the way up. If it's not priming, you'll see foam coming out of the fuel filter. That means you got the lines backwards. Not a big deal. Air filter, brand new one goes on. And the air filter cover, thin side goes up. Gas cap on, and then I'll get the camera lined up so we can try to start this so we can see it start for the first time. Alright, cross our fingers, eh? So we're going to turn the switch on, full choke. We've already primed it up, but prime it up, make sure it's fully primed. And then full throttle, fired, turn choke off, full throttle still. Now you got idle screw. You turn idle up if you need to, or down if you need to. So this weed eater has actually been sitting in my shop for many years. It's literally been here for a long time. So that just shows you that it's good equipment. Again, the idle screws right here. I actually turned it clockwise and brought the idle up just a smidge. There is another air fuel mixture screw that is down on the old one. It's capped, so you can't even get to it. It's right in here. It's a very small flathead screw. It is very touchy. On other carburetors, you turn a half a turn sometimes before you see anything. This thing, I mean, it is touchy. You go to quarter turn, you've gone too far, so you got to be really careful with that. This one might need to be leaned out just a smidge. I'm going to load it up with line to find out. The OEM ones, they keep you from, you can't even see in there, but there's a black cap in there that keeps you from even able to even adjust it. So that's a nice little feature on these as well. Alright guys, if this helped you out in any way, shape, or form, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Again, HiPa was a sponsor. I'll put their website in the description below. You can get them on Amazon as well. It's the better of the carburetors that I've used. It's the best ones I've used so far, actually. Packaged well and everything. We're going to go ahead and change the spark plug on this thing as well, since they gave me one. And you got a spare filter, a couple of spare primer bulbs, etc. ready to go. Alright guys, thanks a lot. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Peace.